Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're going to unpack a Gizmodo piece from late April 2025. It's raising some questions about the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, USPIS.
Right, the folks you normally think of for like mail fraud or theft.
Exactly. But this article suggests they're getting maybe more involved in immigration enforcement, working alongside DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, particularly noted under the Trump administration.
Yeah, the core claim is pretty stark. USPIS reportedly joined a DHS task force and its specific goal: locating and deporting undocumented immigrants.
Which, I mean, that's a big step beyond just, sharing some data here and there.
It really is. It suggests direct involvement, moving away from their, let's say, traditional lane of mail crime.
And the article gives an example, right? This raid in Colorado Springs.
It involved USPIS, but also the FBI, the IRS. Officially, it was framed as a drug bust.
But the outcome, 114 undocumented immigrants were reportedly arrested. Makes you wonder how these operations are planned.
Yeah, what's the primary objective versus, well, secondary consequences, especially when different agencies team up like that?
And it ties into data, too. The article mentions immigration officials wanting access to USPIS data.
A lot of data, potentially. Things like mail tracking info, maybe even credit card details from transactions at the post office.
Wow. And IP addresses from using USPS online services.
Think about the sheer volume of information that passes through the postal system. If access for enforcement, that's, well, it's pretty significant surveillance capability.
Which leads us straight to this mail cover program. The article really focuses on its intended use for immigration stuff.
Right. So for anyone unfamiliar, mail cover is basically USPIS recording the info on the outside of your mail. Sender, recipient, postmark.
And crucially, they do this without a warrant.
USPIS argues they don't need one, constitutionally speaking, but critics strongly disagree. There's pushback.
Apparently, a congressional probe found USPIS complies with almost all requests for mail covers.
So the approval rate is incredibly high, which raises oversight questions.
Definitely. The ACLU is quoted, voicing concerns about USPIS acting as a kind of surveillance auxiliary for immigration agents.
And their point is this might be happening without clear legal authority or oversight.
You get into Fourth Amendment territory here, don't you? Warrantless surveillance, potential chilling effects on who you associate with, what you do, privacy concerns.
Absolutely. And it seems some lawmakers agree. Bipartisan senators, back in 2023 apparently, urged USPIS to require warrants, judicial approval for these covers.
Because right now, there's not much external check, and you're not even told if your mail is under surveillance.
Exactly, no notification requirement, so it can happen entirely behind the scenes.
Then there's the why. The article floats the idea of political factors being involved.
Yeah, it mentions alleged internal communication, something about wanting to, quote, play well in the sandbox with the Trump administration.
Like maybe to protect the USPS itself from restructuring or cuts.
That's the suggestion. And it connects this to a DHS spokesperson reportedly linking USPIS help to fulfilling Trump's promises about removing criminal aliens.
It's interesting because, according to the article, this seems to contrast with past statements from a chief postal inspector who kind of downplayed how often mail covers were used.
Right, so it raises the possibility, at least as the article frames it, of, well, maybe institutional survival pushing USPIS towards actions they might not otherwise take. Compromising principles, perhaps.
So wrapping this up, the picture painted is the Postal Service's own law enforcement arm potentially really expanding its mission.
Into immigration enforcement, using task forces, field ops, data access, and especially this mail cover tool.
Which naturally sparks serious questions. Legal authority, oversight, and frankly, your own privacy.
And the suggestion of political motivations just adds another complex layer to the whole thing.
What's really striking is how an agency we think of in one specific way might allegedly broaden its scope so much.
And the knock-on effects for how government agencies work together and what information they can pool and access about, well, about you.
It really leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? As government agencies evolve, maybe collaborate in new ways, use new tech, how do we ensure that oversight keeps up?
And that individual rights are protected. It's definitely something worth thinking about long after you're done listening today.